So, Milana, hello, how are you?
Hi, Kat. I'm well. How are you?
Good. Yes, I'm very well, thank you. I love, first of all, that you've put on your Instagram how to pronounce your name because I hate getting people's names wrong. I hate it. It
And
frustrates
I
me so
hate it when
much.
people say my name wrong, so that's perfect.
Exactly. Well, there we go. So you've had a very big premiere of Project Hail Mary recently, and you looked absolutely gorgeous. How was it?
It was so fun. It was so sparkly. It's kind of out of this world. I mean, which is on theme, I guess, but it felt like visiting a different planet. And then I almost get whiplash going back to my life, you know?
Well, this is it. One day the red carpet, the next day you're trying to grapple with technology to get onto a StreamYard link. Um,
The
yeah, I mean,
spectrum of human experience.
exactly. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your role. So you play a character called Alessia, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Really good.
Did anything with that character like click for you immediately where you were like, oh, okay, I understand this character?
Yes. When I read the book, I liked that she was kind of a party girl. And I liked this idea that she had a sense of humor and that she had to be a little bit of a renegade to be a female astronaut in Russia, where, the patriarchy is strong everywhere, but it's like, it can be particularly toxic in certain
Mhm.
countries. And I felt like she had to overcome some real stuff to be the person that they choose to not just represent their country, but to save the universe. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
I always saw her as like a hard ass who can like hang with the guys and not lose herself in it, can stay playful and optimistic. And in the book it also talks about her wanting when they all discuss the way they're going to die, and they do this in the movie too, but they discuss the way they're going to die, she chooses to like overdose on a hard drug. And I'm like, oh, she's possibly kind of a party girl.
I mean, definitely. And also like a bit of a badass as well.
100%. Yeah.
Totally. So obviously this film is very high stakes. It's a disaster movie at the end of the day, really. That's kind of how I would categorize it. I just wanted to know, like, how did that idea of playing in such a high stakes situation, like how has that shaped your perspective of how you kind of view teamwork now and sacrifice in
Mm.
extreme situations?
Well, I think this character is very good under pressure. She must be to take this job. Um, and I think I'm pretty good under pressure. Like,
Mm.
I think if anybody in my family or of my friends are in a pickle, I feel like they could call me and I could walk them through it or show up for them in a way that would remain calm and see the big picture. Um, but there is another element to this that's about teamwork and about this kind of like platonic friendship that everybody has together. It's like a platonic love story, specifically with Grace and Rocky. And so that's something that I have missed in filmmaking. Like, even in big superhero movies, I there and especially the ones that I love, that I like, treasure, that are some of my favorites. I sometimes am like um annoyed that the main story is a love story.
Mm.
Because I agree that love stories are fun, but I want to also see the agape kind of love, like the love for our neighbor, the love for our fellow person or alien or animal or species. Like, I really love the way that the movie
Mm.
makes it about working together for the greater good.
Absolutely. And I love that thing about showing different kinds of love, really. Not just that romantic sense, because what it's showing then is the shared human experience, because we do love multiple people in very, very different ways, you know, and often on screen that is not represented. So it's very cool. I love that you took that away from it. Now, for our listeners who haven't seen Project Hail Mary, I keep on referring it to in my head as Hail Mary for some reason. But for our listeners who haven't seen Project Hail Mary, how would you sum it up? If they've been living under a rock and know nothing about it, what would you say?
I would say, obviously, you want to go see Ryan Gosling in space. Obviously, you want to see one of the most talented, charismatic talents of our generation go and save the universe. So that's like a clear given to me. But I think the story is about so many things. But really, it's that our sun is dying and it's being eaten by this thing that we have to go figure out. Really, it's one of the things that Ryan has said that I really like is that it makes us feel like the future isn't something to fear, but it's something to figure out. And that's what's really cool about our heroes in this movie being scientists. You know, it's a really good lesson for our time now as well. It's like, you know, our planet isn't doing well. We know that. We need to trust our scientists to save us. There's something almost like utopian about this movie, like all the countries working together to solve this dire problem that's going to really impact our planet very quickly. And that's real. Like, we do have that problem now. And we're not addressing it as urgently as Eva Stratt does in this movie, played by Sandra Hüller, who is, I think, like also a goddess walking among us. Sorry, I did not go into like what the story is about. I'm bad at big picture.
No, we got it. We got it. I think that actually you've left people with a little bit of mystery there, so they can go and see the movie and find out the rest. It's a really, really wonderful film that I'm sure it was so great to be a part of.
It really was. Yeah.
So I kind of want to delve into your past in a great way. Yeah, I know. God damn. No,
all the skeletons.
So many. Do you know what? I won't even say half of them on here. I had no idea you were an OG YouTuber with like Grace Helbig and Hannah Hart, because I grew up on that stuff. I grew up watching YouTube and I was like, why did I not find you then? I have no idea how I bypassed you. But you were just so funny with what you were making, and it was so, I'd say, ahead of its time as well in terms of the humor. First of all, why did you decide to start creating content? And then my second question then is, how do you think it's shaped who you are as a performer today?
I started making content probably for the same reason you are creating avenues for yourself. It was just very early on in the self-generator world. I mean, previously there were so many gatekeepers to creating content. You know, if you wanted to put on a play, you had to raise money, rent a theater, hire a set designer. You know, there was so much to it. Or you wanted to do a short film, you had to raise money for that. Whereas like YouTube felt like the Wild West in that time. This is like, you know, maybe 2011 to 2014-ish. So I had been doing improv comedy, and I knew a few people who had been making YouTube videos or making internet content in general. And I got an internship for one of them, and I was like their post-effects supervisor. And I was, you know, just like helping out with anything I could. I had experience in graphic design. So I was like, I'll clean your floors and I'll design your flyer. Like, I just want to be a part of this world because I really wanted to learn. And in that process, I figured out that, in that process, I met my partner at the time. My creative partner is Stevie Nelson, who is still one of my best friends. And we like in doing bits, came up with these characters that we created a web series off of. And I do agree it was a little bit of ahead of its time, because I think it's been replicated a few times, that kind of model that we did, where this like kind of sarcastic, half checked out, mean, for a better word, interviews. And so it was like a really creative time where we're living really cheaply and editing all day long to try to put out a video once a week. I look back at that time very fondly. And so the reason I started doing it was really because I just wanted a place to make things without asking for permission. And that's what ended up getting me my amazing reps. And we ended up selling it as a pilot to MTV, and had wonderful guests on it, and it got me other acting opportunities. So it did what it needed to do at the time, which is just like start a career for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, one of those things of back then, that was such a leap to be going, right, I'm going to create my own content. Now everyone's creating content, right? You know, every second
It's kind of the only way. Yeah.
It is the only way. But back then it was such a radical way to do it, which I think I'm almost envious that it sort of wasn't my time to be creating content back then. Because I think that the people who, like yourself, who have done that, I look at you with such admiration, because you've now helped the way content is out in the sphere for us. What would be interesting is your view on the content that is being put out now. Do you think it's too much, too little, the right stuff, the wrong stuff?
You know, this isn't my analogy, but I heard somebody once say that it's kind of like garage bands in the 80s. It was like everybody had a band, but the good ones rose to the top. And that's how I feel about content. Everyone can make content, and the good stuff rises to the top. Sometimes the trash rises to the top too. I think my only qualm that I have with content now is that it's interaction based. And in that, there is an incentive to create things that are controversial, that are not funny or true, but are just eliciting a response from people. And then people take the bait. It is called clickbait. We are the fish that take the bait, and thus we interact with it, and then just catapult it in the algorithm for more attention. And so people are incentivized to make things that are intentionally misinformation, and then misinformative, disinformative. And then also, I think there's a world now of people who are trying to make content for change, or calling themselves independent journalists or things like that, when really they're just trying to make content. They're not trying to make change. So that's the only thing that breaks my heart. But I'm all for people telling me how they did their makeup. I would like to know. And I'm all for people telling me how they built that table, or see a sketch about their mom's funny accent. Like, I want to know, I want to see that. I'm really interested in people's lives. It's when it's used for like inaccurate information and manipulation that it's really damaging.
Yeah, no, that's such an eloquent way you put it then. That was wonderfully summed up. Because I totally agree with you. I think that the clickbait stuff, do I watch it? Yeah. But is it good? No, and it's not helping anyone, right?
I think you can watch it, and then when it starts to feel like it's not good, swipe away and don't interact with it. It's when people then comment on it saying, this isn't true, or this makes me so mad, or I can't believe somebody said that, that the algorithm is just like, nom, 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 like people are eating this up. The algorithm doesn't know if it's like, you know, Scott Galloway has said that like before sex used to sell, and now rage sells. So there's like a whole other business of creating things that make us mad. And then we just walk around more angry, more afraid of each other, and more separate. And actually, the goal of the internet, what we hoped would happen, is that it would bring us all together. And I feel like that is what really existed and still exists in subcultures. And YouTube at that time was definitely a subculture. Comic-Con is that subculture, like VidCon is that subculture. So it's like, can we create healthy communities on the internet? Yes. Is it also used for evil? Yes.
Yes, definitely is. It definitely is. Yeah, I think you're so right in saying that it kind of pushes us away from each other sometimes, and yeah, makes us so much more rageful. I don't know what it's like for you in the US, but over here, I've noticed that people's driving, it's really, I think this is a knock-on effect, right? Because everyone's in their own little bubble, and their driving is so erratic and angry. It's like, well, get out of my way. You're going too slow, or you don't know where you are, so just move because I know where I'm going. And it's like, I do think it's a knock-on effect of the internet. But anyway, we're very much digressing from finding
agree.
out more about you. But yes, I do. I'm loving this conversation. However, we do want to find out more about you. So you were the voice of Squirrel Girl in Marvel Rising and Marvel Rivals. What would you say is her defining quality?
To me, it's optimism. I don't know that we have that many superheroes who are about like healing and us becoming better together. Especially in the original comics and in the cartoons. I think that Squirrel Girl is really about like, let's do the right thing, let's work together, let's maintain our sense of humor about it. And she's a girl. I think there's lots of male superheroes get to be funny, and there aren't a lot of female superheroes that have enthusiasm and positive energy and can be bubbly, which is who I am on a good day. And so I love that I get to express that through her.
Oh, that's so cool that you can like channel your own personality through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I was just going to make a terrible joke at you then, but I won't because I don't want to offend you.
Oh, you couldn't.
I feel like you want to know now. I was just going to say, why did they cast you when you're not funny?
That's a good point. Barely came by. I mean, this has been a very serious. We're talking about like the darkness of the internet and
I know,
male loneliness. But that's also the state of the world, and like we have to also sometimes comedy is just telling the truth.
Well, that is the most honest form of performance, really. But there we go.
You guys
anyway,
are the best at it. The Brits, no one does it better than you.
I know. What can we say? You could learn a few things.
I really could. I'm gonna come visit, take a class.
I think you should. I'll teach you.
I totally would. Thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. No, I'm kidding. No, I couldn't. Your humor is. I could not match that. You're hilarious.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Honestly, I really did a massive deep dive into your YouTube stuff, and I was watching it, and the time was going by. I was like, oh my God, I've been watching it for an hour now. So yeah, that's how funny you are. You starred in a film called, and please don't hate me if I say this wrong, Bad Shabbos? Shabbos or Shabbos?
Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Shabbos. It's like
very Jewish word, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It like
like Shabbat.
Shabbat. Yeah. So you were in that, and you were dealing with something genuinely shocking, like the death of your boyfriend. But you keep so grounded. Like how did you kind of channel that energy when everything around you was getting like a little bit chaotic and ridiculous?
Well, I think my character was kind of sardonic and dark and like the wounded daughter of the bunch. She had like an older brother and a younger brother, so she was just, or maybe she was the oldest actually. And so with that, I think comes like a lot of responsibility, just being raised with boys. So I think I just channeled that, like what it means to be the oldest daughter and the responsibility that you have to like keep shit together, but then also to be so mad at your family. That's something that came easily to me. I don't know where I pulled it out of. I just totally knew how to be mad at my family.
I mean, who knows? That's that's cool though that you got to play the dark in what was quite satirical in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really fun family film. I mean, by family, I mean it's about a family. It's not like
Yeah,
four
I was going to say it's
7-year-olds.
not for the family, right?
But it was just also that everybody in it was such a great improviser, and our director, who was also our co-writer, was like incredibly collaborative. So we got to try a bunch of different things, and then it was put together in an edit, a symphony, made it sing.
How beautiful. It is great when it comes together in the edit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a dream.
And you know that because you did a lot. It sounds like you did all your own editing for YouTube.
I did. It's a great film school, learning how to edit.
Absolutely is. And you also see like your craft as well. Like you understand your craft a little bit better because you understand how things get chopped together, don't you? Yeah.
For sure.
So I know you do a lot of activism. And that's something that you, although I wasn't aware of this, once I started researching you, I did become aware of it, that you had harassment because of the AT&T commercials, which I'm very sorry you had to go through that, first of all, from just a job that you were doing. You know, you were just doing your job, and I'm really sorry you had to go through that. But I love that you have spoken out about it, and it seems unafraid to do that. Have you always been someone like who speaks up when there's an injustice?
Yeah. Especially when it's about protecting women. I think like some of my earliest memories have been noticing the injustices that women experience and speaking up about them. And I think that's sometimes what pisses me off about the internet as a whole, is it's like, it's not just that it's happening to me, it's that it's happening and nobody's doing anything about it. That there are no systems in place or regulations. We just honestly, a lot of the times they're bots. A lot of the times they're not even real people. They are just literally cogs in a bigger machine that want to elicit chaos for some other benefit and to hurt people. And there's no justice in it. That's it. It's always been a thing that I've noticed, and it's a thing I can't really turn off. Once you notice that the world is skewed and that, you know, women experience, like, is it 1 in 4 women is sexually assaulted? The thing that I've experienced online is a fraction of what so many women experience in their actual workplace. And I experienced it online in a way it felt like men were grabbing at me, but I was able to put my phone down.
Yeah.
And the speaking out against it that I did was like please stop. This feels like a unconsensual relationship. This feels like I did not ask for you to treat me this way. I do not like that you're doing that. And because I am not afraid of having emotions, the internet was like, we fucking made her cry. Like, it was like a thing that they just ate up more, which was a real lesson for me about like the relationship that I have with the internet. You know, you hope that it could be authentic. You hope that people are emotionally intelligent. And I think I've learned to adjust my expectations.
Okay, that's interesting. I hope for a day women online and on screen are seen differently. The perception of them is different, but I worry that day will never come. So I think that's a great piece of advice, is just manage those expectations, right?
I don't know. I don't have advice for anybody because I'm really managing it step by step and trying to think of like what feels good for me. I know that I do not feel good as an object, but I do like being pretty and being sexy and being playful. And I do not want to feel like I have to be like, oh my God, stop. You know, that's not a good feeling for me. So I do enjoy being a subject. Obviously, I like put myself on camera. So that feels like the biggest difference, is like whether I am an object or a subject, whether I am being harassed or being empowered.
Yeah.
And the same picture, you know, this is why people are so confused also with my like recent work with Only Philanthropy, which is a platform that I created where I sell exclusive content and give the money to charity. I wanted to just be myself, and I didn't want to feel like I can't have a body. I didn't want to feel like I always have to cover myself up. That's not who I am. I want to be free and open and playful. And so I created,
absolutely.
and I didn't want to do it on Instagram because I don't always like my comment section. Can you believe it? And I know, it's wild. They're not always all nice. Most of them are actually quite great, but once in a while, you know, for some reason, the human psychology makes us remember the worst of it. I would love for there to be what's the vitamin we can take that turns off our ability to care about negative feedback? But it's not even feedback. It's like a lonely person who wants to put me down a peg, or not even a person, a bot. The point is, I am having a really good time owning myself again and not being afraid of the response or the reaction, and feeling really good giving money away to people who really need it.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, you feel good and it's for a great cause. So those two things, if you can use your platform for that, I think we need more creators like you know, doing that, doing the good stuff, you know. Just a final few questions before we finish up. First question is, what would you like to see more of from major Hollywood movies?
Women. I would just love to see more women. Yeah, I'd love to see more stories written by, directed by, starring.
100%.
I'd love to see the score to be done by a woman. And I just think female collaboration is such a fun thing to be a part of, and I'd love to see more of it. I, of course, love working with all of my guy friends who I've collaborated with before, but
absolutely,
I'd love to see more women.
Yeah, and men are great too, but
they're great.
They are, but yeah, I totally agree with you that women-led films is the way to go. The best director for the Oscars, only one woman, right? That is showing us that there is still a lack of equality there. It is still not the way we think it is, because I think that there is this idea that women are completely equal now, and I think the fight is still not over until there's at least 2, if not 3 women for every 2 or 3 men, right? I mean, that's simple math.
Well, I think it goes back to like the storytelling. I think because women, girls, femmes have watched movies and shows that are male dominated, and we have no problem putting ourselves in the shoes of the main character. We can see ourselves in male leads. And boys and men haven't had that same opportunity to exercise that empathetic stretch. So I think, you know, films that star women are often thought of as like movies for women, and movies that star men are thought of movies for everybody.
Yes. Okay, I write an article for Nerdspin, and I literally said those exact same words. How crazy is that? Great minds think alike.
But it doesn't. So what was your like pitch or call to action? What do you think we should do about that?
What do I think we should do about that? I honestly, I'd love to say I know. I think it's about women having the confidence to go into those spaces, and for the mentors of those women to encourage them to go into those spaces, because I think we still don't encourage our women enough, our women and girls. And I also think that we as women don't like to take up space as much as our male counterparts do. I don't know that that's a massive solution, but
yeah, I mean, I don't quite have a solution either. I know that what I'm doing at home is I have a son, and I am just making him watch shows where there are female leads.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves them. And it's not a big ask to be like, we're gonna watch Gabby's Playhouse or this show about mermaids, as opposed to like the show about these, Batman or something.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's I think it's a generational thing. You're like, I think,
right, hopefully it is.
Fingers crossed, because if we can influence our young boys to see content from women as just content, right? If you could play one dream role, what would it be?
I would love, as much as I'm like, oh, I love the platonic love story in this, I would love to see I'd love to be in and see a really good love story about a couple that is funny together and makes sense. Like, I have such a true love story with my husband and enjoy his company so much, and he's such a real partner for me. And I feel like I haven't yet seen that. You know what? Actually, that's not true. I know that there are movies that are like 20, 30 years old that have like really tried to make it about the friendship and the fun and the sexiness of a couple. I think I'd like to see that come back, and I would like to either direct it or act in it, please. Universe, if you're listening.
Absolutely. You've got to put it out there. Would you ever write anything like that? Are you a writer?
I am a writer, and I am not writing anything like that right now, but I'll put it in the notes app. Thank you for asking me that question to make me think about it.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Anytime. And my very final question is, because we are called, well, the company under that Spotlight is under is called Nerdspin. We have a lot of fans who love Marvel. So I want to know, for our fans, will there be a live action version of Squirrel Girl anytime soon?
I don't know. If there is, I pray that there is, because I know that it would be so good for the world and for everybody and for Marvel. I would be beyond blessed to be a part of it.
Well, there we go. You heard it here first. She would be blessed. Okay? She would be blessed.
Oh, let that be the clickbait article.
Yes. She would be so blessed. Humbled. Thank you so much for today. I've had a wonderful chat with you. Thank you for everything. And we will see you all next time. Bye for now.
Bye.